All right, thank you. So we're just gonna start off. The time is 5:10 p.m. And so we're just gonna start off with a roll call of who is here. Diana Yaisley,
Yaisley?
Yaisley here. Sarah, I don't know how to say.
Batchelder.
Batchelder. All right. Present Carol Clark Flanagan.
Here.
Nicole Kodak.
Present.
All right. And the event subcommittee chair, it's myself and Kosi Lee. Not present is Jean Ott. And I believe actually that's all. Tanisha Grant is not going to be part of our committee. So that's our roll call. Following that, we want to start with our Pledge of Allegiance. So if you can't stand, we do Pledge of Allegiance. And if you have a flag, you can work with it, but I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, great. So again, we could call to order. It is now 5:12 p.m. We have till 6 p.m., so that gives us 48 minutes as we move forward. Is our next portion of our agenda would be the public audience or public comments, which we do not have any of those. And so if we move forward past there, we're just at an update from the chair. And I guess my main update is to say that, yes, this is our first public meeting for the events subcommittee as the part of the Spirit Council. So I think we have a lot to cheer. Give a little round of applause. I think it is well deserved. But thanks to all of you, the work that we've been doing. I think, obviously, if the work wasn't worthwhile, we would not be in the place that we are with the town. So, it's great that the town sees this work as worthwhile as well. And so that is also, that we're in a place where this type of work, again, is appreciated because it's not necessarily would have to be so, I believe, in every area, in every place or any town, but just the fact that the work of diversity and inclusion is being embraced by the town of Simsbury. I think that says a lot. I think perhaps even for people outside of the town of Simsbury, that would probably come as a surprise and even a pleasant surprise. So it's nice to be able to break down barriers. It's nice to be able to break down any type of stereotypes that people might be there. And then it's great that, we're obviously just willing to put in the work to try to make a difference and to make the town and other towns even better. So yeah, that is a brief update. We have our next Simsbury Let's Talk meeting. That'll be Thursday on the 5th. And we're working with Indigenous Peoples Month. And so we're having a virtual through Zoom, also partnered with the library. So we'll have an event, and that's starting at 6:30, from 6:30 to 8. So if anyone is interested, you could sign up through the town of Simsbury, the public library. And these events are always, they're excellent. They put forth a lot of information. And, it's often from a perspective we might not always get to hear from. So it's very beneficial. And again, it allows us to grow. So that again will be Thursday, November 5th at 6:30 p.m. Oh, Lisa is here. All right.
Yay!
So Lisa is down with us. All right. So we spoke a little too early. Thank you for joining us, Lisa.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just a shout out also to our town liaison. That's Kristen Furmanek. I hope I say the name correctly. But she's our town liaison who we're working through as well. And she's taking time out of her schedule to make sure that we're able to have this meeting as well. So, shout out to the public library, Lindsay, but all the people that have been working with us that is allowing us to be here and allowing us to, just to move forward as a committee. All right. So I think that's our updates. I don't know if anyone else has anything else they wish to add in regards to any updates about what is going on. Now's the time to speak. All right, I'll take that as a no. All right, so as we move forward, we have some action items that we would like to move forward with for the for our event subcommittee. One of the things that we definitely want to work on is we need a clerks or secretary. I don't know if there's one title that is preferred over the other, but part of what we're going to be doing is we need minutes. We're going to have minutes. Anytime we make a motion, have a vote, that's going to have to be recorded as per the Freedom of Information Act. And so since we are a town committee, these things have to be made public. And so it is just something that we really do need to have, is to work with the a secretary or clerk, but someone who's willing to just record the major parts of the meeting, who makes a motion, and then to be able to record the votes, and who votes, because these are all matters of public record. And so that is one thing. I guess we'll just ask, first and foremost, if we have a volunteer for if anyone would wish to fill that position, because it is very vital. It is essential for our subcommittee. So we will ask if there is anyone who wishes to fill that role for the event subcommittee. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Nicole, are you the secretary for the general, or you're the chair? You're one of the chairs of the general.
One of the chairs, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's what I was hoping, just to have a volunteer for this, just so again, so it makes our meetings a lot smoother, just so they could be just a lot easier. And then these are things, because they have to be put out for public record. I believe motions have to be put out, was it 48 hours for any votes and motions? I believe that's 48 hours we have to submit those. And then we have, I believe, up to 6 days for the minutes. But obviously it's just easier if everything could, just be submitted all at one time if we have it in 48 hours. So again, if that's not something that anyone is looking for, I guess we'll have to make a way, or I guess even as the committee chair. Yes, Carol.
So I'm not the fastest typist, but I am happy in the absence of anyone else stepping forward to do this.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much, and we don't need speed, but also, again, the main points of focus is anytime a motion is made, who makes the motion, and if we have a vote, and just who is to document who is voting, for what, if we have the yays and we have the nays, and that's the main portion. We could get back obviously with Kristen in regards to how the format has to be regarding the minutes. Like, has to be, if there has to be some specific format, but it just has to be given back to her just as a matter of public record. And again, we have about 48 hours, so about 2 days following the meeting. And so it's not to put speed, pressure, rush, but we just need a record, and that's the main thing. Yes, Diana.
I move that we appoint Carol Clark Flanagan as the clerk for the Spirit Events Subcommittee.
All right. I second that motion. And so I think that would say our first motion was made by Diana Yaisley. Oh, Kirsten, you want to keep us in order?
No, you're doing a great job. I just wanted to throw in that I'm more than happy to help Carol, so that you know what you need to do. It's pretty easy, as Nkosi said. We're going to keep it as simple as possible for you.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you as well. Thank you. So our first motion is made by Diana Yaisley. I don't know if we need the time, 5:20, and that is a motion for Carol Clark Flanagan to be the clerk for the event subcommittee. And we've had the motion was seconded by Nicole Kodak and everyone else available. Lisa, you with us? Are we allowed to send?
Yes, I am with you.
Okay, just making sure. We got the video, so we got the background, but we're just making sure. Okay, so we're all set with that. Carol, thank you so much.
We have to vote. The motion is made. Now we have to officially vote.
Okay, so now we have to officially vote. Okay, so our vote is who is in favor. The motion has been made, but now who is in favor?
You could just say all those in favor to carry the motion.
All those in favor to carry the motion, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I don't know if we got a verbal aye from Lisa.
Yeah.
And do we have any nays? Okay, the ayes have it. So that's everyone that is here is voting in favor. Thank you, Diana, for
Motion passes.
The motion passes. All right, we're going to make it official. We'll get there, but thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, I guess I get to be a little verbose, a little too much sometimes, but thank you. All right, so that's first action item. So successful appointment of our subcommittee clerk. Thank you again, Carol. All right. So the next thing we want to do is vote on our 2021 subcommittee meeting schedule. And as it is of right now, our plan is to meet, because we do have to meet as a subcommittee once per month, at least once per month. And so the slot we are looking to use is this the Monday, the first Monday. Is that correct? Yes, the first Monday prior to the general meeting of the Spirit Council. So we're looking to use this first Monday slot from 5 to 6 p.m. So that being said, our next meeting would be December 7th, assuming that there are any other conflicts with any other groups, and that information would be given to us. So our next meeting would be December 7th. Following that, we'd be looking at January 4th. Yes, Sarah.
Well, it concerns me that it's only that hour slot. And what if we're not finished with our business in that hour? We have to go to the Spirit Council meeting. And then how would we finish up since we have to be so official?
Well, we have to, but I believe whatever the slot is, we have an hour for it, so it's, yeah, so it's not just like we could schedule 2 hours but we have an hour. And so the biggest thing, because now it has to be virtual and it has to be available for the public TV. And so we have to have our liaisons from the towns have to be available as well. So this has to be pretty much a time when we have our town representative available, and it's a time when we're available as well. So we don't necessarily have like a 2-hour slot that we can fill into. So we have this hour time, and then we just have to be as efficient as possible. And if we have to schedule another meeting, we have to put our request in and then to see what else would be available. So that's what we do. Yes, Nicole.
I think we're not limited to an hour. I think that we just need to try to find a recurring time that we can get together. And if there comes an event that is going to require, like, let's say COVID opens up in the late spring, early summer, and we want to do the cultural music and food truck event kind of thing, that's going to maybe take some more meeting frequency. So we could add that as special meetings to work on that project later. But I think we can have more than an hour, just not tonight. If it's 5 to 6, that's our limitation.
Okay.
So the question is when
then
else?
I guess, Sarah, then that's something perhaps I can ask about and get back if there are. Yes, Kristen.
I'll just jump in. I think that it's important to remember and that, subcommittees typically have that sort of a time frame for meetings. And it's going to be really important as you move through your agenda to just stay really focused on the work that you have. And also just thinking back to the conversation that we had with our presenter from the Freedom of Information, that if there's something that you're working on, you can always work on details outside of the meeting. So we can work through those things offline. So we can kind of move forward now with the calendar planning, and then we can talk through how to make your meetings as worthwhile as they can be at kind of offline or at your next meeting. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay. Yes, Carol.
Kristen, can I ask you a procedure question? Do we always start these meetings asking for commentary from people who have townspeople?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you were asking.
So we started today, and Kosi started by saying, here we are, welcome, we're live. Do we start these meetings with, commentary from townspeople?
Yes, if there are any, the public's allowed to submit comments up until the night before. So we didn't have any comments for the meeting today, but public can submit comments. Yes, absolutely.
And if we are live, they could attend the beginning of the meeting and speak during public audience.
We're not designing our meetings that way. We're just taking that's not how the town's doing it. I know that came up during the presentation. The way that we're doing it is to have folks submit ahead of time.
Okay, even if we're reading in person.
Yes, that's how we're going to be doing this group.
Fantastic.
We would read their comments.
Great.
Okay, is that so? Yeah, so that's part of moving forward. And again, just for right now to place the vote, because we just want to have a tentative a schedule in place that is in set with the town. And Sarah, just like you say, if we need to come back to the drawing board, if we need another meeting or another date, then that's something then obviously we're able to do. We're allowed to talk off of this forum if it's an
come back. Once we agree to the calendar of meetings, then we can go forward and talk about our events. And once we get the format voted on publicly.
And we are able to do. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, we missed pretty much everything you said, but yes.
Okay. So yes, Sarah, that is something we can come back to discuss another time, okay? All right, so are we okay with making a vote with our meeting schedule that it will be the first Monday of every month moving forward? That gives us up until June. Again, the first Monday, so again, January 4th, February 1st, March 1st, April 5th, May 3rd, and then June 7th. And those are the first Mondays leading up into June, and then there's no official meetings over the summer until we come back until September, and not Labor Day. So September would be the 13th. Okay, so can we make a vote? Make a motion to accept that? Yes, Sarah.
I make a motion that we schedule our meetings the first Monday of each month at 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
Second.
All right. The motion is made by Sarah to accept our meeting calendar of first Monday of every month, and it has been seconded by Diana. Okay, now we have to vote. So vote on acceptance of the moving of the motion. Raise your hand or signify with the aye. Okay, looks like this is a unanimous vote. The ayes have it that we are able to accept the motion made by Sarah for the first Monday of the month from 5 to 6 for our meetings for the event subcommittee.
Question, are we going to have a calendar sent out then with all the dates listed to the subcommittee members?
Yes, we could make sure that happens. We could send out a calendar if that's necessary.
And it's also the same as the packet. Yeah.
I just don't know, we needed one for our subcommittee. Like we needed an official calendar submitted for our subcommittee.
Yep, you do. So what either I can do or Nkosi can do is we'll take the Spirit Council, the format that we used for that calendar, and we'll just insert your dates instead. And then that's officially approved because you approved the dates tonight, and that will be submitted to our town clerk.
Great.
So that means that your next meeting does not have to be a special meeting. It will be a regular meeting.
Great.
And then we'll send it out to all of you too, of course.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Sounds good. All right, we're 2 for 2. I like it. Way to keep it moving, everybody. Way to keep it moving. All right. So next we have is just a little bit of new business, and most of us are new business. Again, it's just perhaps did everyone go over the Freedom of Information Act training? Was everyone able to attend that? And so that's a part of our new business. But if everyone's attended the training, I believe you had opportunity to ask questions. And so I don't think we have to revisit all that since, such a great job was done with the training and it was very thorough. And so we can move forward from that. And obviously it just kind of sets with our meeting schedule. But, at least that one meeting per month. Anything else after that, we will have to go through our town liaison there through Kirsten and be able to move it from there. So so we could move on from that. We have to review the calendar. Obviously, we have another meeting for our Simsbury Let's Talk this Thursday. Flyer is out, right? It looks like it's going to be a phenomenal meeting. It's a phenomenal topic. I know I'm looking forward to it, as I am with all of our meetings, but our Let's Talk discussions. But yes, it's another discussion we don't get to have very often. So that's why I'm looking forward to it. So we have that for November 5th. November 5th. We have 11/16. This is our partnership with the Simsbury Public Library. Her name is Manju Soni, and this is a book that she's written on lessons from apartheid. And so that is coming up also for the 16th of November. And then we have on December 3rd, we have our Let's Talk discussion is on World AIDS Day. And so this is just one of the topics. If we feel obviously there's a big day in our country going on tomorrow, we don't know what it's going to look like right now. But we kind of put it out there that if we feel we have another topic that we perhaps would like to substitute, we have the date, but we are allowed, obviously if we want to alter the topic, we are able to do so. And so it's something we can look to be able to do for December 3rd. Obviously, we do have the World AIDS Day. We have that as a topic, but again, so I'm just bringing it out to the group for discussion if we would like to have a different topic for December 3rd. And Nicole, I see you have your hand up.
I do. As Nkosi and I were preparing for the meeting, we thought this would be a good time for us to just look at the calendar as a whole and say, do we want to substitute, given what's going on right now, the December topic? January is National Human Trafficking Day. And really, the calendar came about in the summer when we were able to start things happening and have Let's Talk start by Zoom. We looked at just the national calendar of topics that were relevant to diversity and inclusion work, and we decided on these monthly topics. But the truth is, I think while World AIDS Day and human trafficking are huge issues that I've personally been involved with in the past, I think for our town, for this work right now at this time, one suggestion we came up with was having a couple of community listening sessions that we could maybe ask some of our town leaders to participate in with us and have the data subcommittee help us form a framework and questions based on their research and what other towns have done, like Decatur, Georgia, and there's Iowa City, I think. And just to have two topics where we have hopefully an expanding beyond the echo chamber of people that are coming and already participating in our work, to maybe begin the talk of how do we become more diverse and inclusive? How do we think about things that are affecting our town right now? And I think given the support we have from the Board of Selectmen, I wouldn't surprise me if we asked Sean Askham and Eric Wellman and maybe others to join, if they would be willing to help us join, because despite differences in philosophies and political approaches on many things, they both agree that this is important work. So I would love their help to expand our audience and begin the work of the real discussions. After those 2 months, we've got February, African American History Month, March, National Women's History Month, April is National American Heritage Month, May was Jewish American Heritage Month, and then June has the LGBTQIA Pride Month, and then Juneteenth. Those may be more relevant to keep in place, and we certainly have the date set, but these two upcoming meetings in December and January were ones I thought maybe worth discussing.
So what would our topic be then? So if we're looking for the December 3rd and we want to have perhaps town representatives to help expand the from the Board of Selectmen to help expand the audience, to what would our topic be? What would we want, what would we want to call that? No.
The only thing I'm going to say, I mean, I agree that I think there's a lot that's going on in town, and I think that there needs to be more of a discussion outside of those who are already bought into whatever topic we're discussing, and having a community discussion. I just want to be very careful not to frame it around politics, and because we are non-partisan committee, and we are not a political affiliated committee in any sort of way. Correct. So we don't want it to have any kind of look that, I agree, like with having bipartisan town leaders on board. I just don't want it to, it's, yes, we want to bridge divide all over the place, but I just, I'm just putting that out there to be very cautious not to have it appear to be a political healing message in any way, even though that is what we need. And but how do we frame that around diversity and inclusion, which is our mission? So what are we having them come and just talk about in how we can hear from all sides of the stakeholders in town, and have a conversation about diversity and inclusion in our town without being political. So.
Well, okay. I don't think it's about being political. We just have to offer both sides.
Yes.
We just cannot favor one side over the other. So if we have it, obviously it's pretty much a two-party system, with it being Democratic and Republican. So if there's representatives from each party, then that's, what we're fulfilling, that mode as saying it's non-political, but we're not endorsing one side or the other.
Right.
So I think that's what we don't want to endorse, one side or the other. So that's why if it's opened up to both sides, then that, then we're not endorsing either party. And again, the idea is being able to, I think, to foster dialogue. I think perhaps with the hope of, hearing things from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the intent of helping a town move forward with the topic of diversity and inclusion, how to keep unity, right? Even though in the midst of all the splintering, right, that we do have right now, but how do you help the town continue to move forward, in this work? So perhaps, in that motion, we definitely don't want to favor one party over the other, but we definitely want to have it a dialogue where it is a bipartisan dialogue. Yes, Carol.
So I would piggyback on what you're saying, Nkosi, and I agree with Diana. But but this is intensely political work. It's not about Democrat, Republican, that level, but the idea of a social justice and equity it couldn't possibly be more political in the larger sense. So I'm hoping that we can, as you do so well in COSI, and you're talking about, is model what public discourse, as you both have just said, can and should look like. We can't avoid public discourse. So that's just my contribution there.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Nicole.
Two thoughts. One is, I was also thinking of maybe asking someone like Art Miller, or someone that was very active in town and very much part of healing dialogues and conversations in general, to be part of it. And I'm thinking less of a panel discussion and more just participating with us, because I'm wondering, my second thought is, do we make the first event in December really more of a listening? We've heard in the May Forum, it's been a year and a half, right? And I don't think a lot of the issues are changing, but a lot has happened since then. And I'm wondering if it will be worth having the data group work with us to frame questions to just literally hear and acknowledge without discussing at the first one, be more inclined toward listening. And the second one, maybe follow up with more discussion of key issues.
So January, you're talking about January then on the fall. Okay.
It's almost like the December would frame what the January would look like.
Yes. Yes.
But if it's listening, then we have to figure who's doing the talking. And that's the other part. So,
right.
That's the good part. When we have the panel, we have our speakers, right? So if we're gonna have listening, then I don't know how that works as far as a format goes. So I don't know. I like the idea of like having the, if possible, to have the Board of Selectmen kind of as our speakers, and then we could moderate in between. But I would kind of like, that idea. So at least we have some established, informed, people who are able to, make, valid points from either side. And then obviously see where the common ground is, if there's common ground, because we don't want it obviously to turn into some sort of, mudslinging, emotional, type of, outbursts. So we still wanted to keep it organized, we still want to keep it, focused, and we still want to, keep it, very relevant. So that would be my question about that. If we're going to do a listening party, then, as far as who's going to be, who's there to do the feedback, who's there to give the, to open discussion in regards to whatever points people in the audience you would make. So I know in the past what we've done is if we use the data subcommittee, if we have some points of reference to begin with, and then often we're kind of able to ask questions, to the people who are there to speak, and then they're able to kind of, move off of those questions. And then if there's questions from the audience, and that's something we're able to do as well. But we just want to keep structure, and we just want to have format, at the end of the day. So I guess that's what I'm getting at with that, is that we want to be able to keep it structured. So I think, Nicole, you put your hand up, and then Carol will move over to you.
I think one idea would be Chris Kelly does group lead. He is an expert. We're going to see him do it with us later tonight in the spirit meeting for goal setting. And remember, he helped us when we first started in October 2019 as well. He may be willing to moderate the listening, and he's on the data subcommittee, just in terms of getting questions and the structure for listening, taking people participating through not problem solving yet, maybe just listening, taking time to hear and hopefully engage with people who are maybe on the edges on both sides.
Right.
Just a thought.
Okay. So I hear you mention the part of problem solving. So then we could be going into an ongoing dialogue here. So for perhaps, I guess, what is it that we're looking to accomplish? So if we have our initial meeting for December, right, and then it moves into January, but what is it that we would like to, we're not there to problem solve, I don't believe, right? We're there to hear. And then, what would we be doing from there? I'm all for it. I'm just trying to figure out what the structure perhaps would look like, or we just want to try to visit in with the December meeting first, and let's kind of focus on that one. And then we'll be able to, we have another meeting, right? And then we can move forward, as to how it could go into January. I think Kristen has her hand up. I don't see it a full screen.
Can you see me?
I only see part of you. I think that's my screen now. Yes.
Okay, let's try it again.
Okay, I see you now.
Yeah, so I would suggest also just to doing a quick time check for you. And I would say, keep your focus on, you've got your November event coming up, and then maybe you need to have that quick conversation with the people that you're thinking would participate to gauge where they're at and to see if it's something that they can do for December before you decide on your December focus. And I would say maybe having a second in your back pocket in case that doesn't work out, so that you have an event that you've already approved as a group and you can move forward with on December if it doesn't work with the Board of Selectmen, because I can't speak on their behalf.
Correct. Right. Well, thank you. Yes, thank you, because we do have 13 minutes to go. Yes, Carol.
So I liked Nicole's idea. I don't know who this is, Nicole, but did you say Art Miller? Was
Yes.
that the name? So to, instead of having and again, I think Kristen's absolutely right. We have to, as we always have done in our subcommittee, is reach out to people and make sure that they can participate before we announce what we're doing. But rather than have the Board of Selectmen be at the December one or pursue that, maybe we should pursue somebody who's experienced at this public discourse and we listen and maybe we bring a couple of other people in. And then also, I think very importantly, if we did Board of Selectmen, it'd be really important for their sake to have prepared questions. So it's like they know what they're going to be answering or talking about beforehand. But I like the idea of somebody who's really experienced that we bring in, who's not a selectman on the first one, and maybe some other people too. I don't know.
Okay, well, I guess we'll have to come back with this, because I guess, do we have any questions? Oh, Nicole, before we do that, so you have your hand up.
So in the interest of time, I'm thinking we could approve a plan A and a plan B for December. Plan A could be a listening session with someone to take us through the structure of questions and trying to get a lot of people to attend and participate by Zoom. And that person, the moderator, could be Chris Kelly, it could be Deb Clifford, who works with Jean Ott at the United Methodist Church, and she does this work also, I think, for the Hartford or Travelers, one of the two. But the format and the concept we could approve as Plan A, and if that doesn't work, we could do Plan B, World AIDS Day as a fallback, for example.
I guess my question would be is, what's our tool, what's our ability to reach out to people, because we pretty much on our sessions kind of share the same viewpoints. And so even if we have a moderator, what's our tool to be able to get people who might not share our same viewpoints? So that was my point of perhaps trying to get to the Board of Selectmen, because there's going to be someone perhaps of standing that, might represent a different viewpoint. Because if we're saying, okay, you have a different view, what's their reasoning for wanting to join in on this conversation, if that's what we're trying to expand? So I was just trying to, by putting that out there at the Board of Selectmen, is saying, here's a person of standing, here's a person, that's recognizable, that might have, that someone from another viewpoint might be able to recognize and say, okay, that's a reason for me to join in to this meeting, because we still want to get people who might not share the same opinion. I see Diana that the bells are ringing and stuff.
Yeah.
It's true.
So,
Yes.
So I kind of agree with you because you do want like that authority hitch to get people on. But if we phrase it and ask for that listening session to the public, why should we have diversity and inclusion in Simsbury, and what does it mean to you? That's the question we want the audience to bring to us to answer, because then we could potentially have differing opinions, differing viewpoints that we can then work with and answer those questions for them, but also give us something to then work with and being like, okay, maybe this is why it is or is not working here, because we're not telling them what we should do. We want them to come to us and say, what does it mean to you? Why should we have it? You know, because we're trying to build it here. But if there are going to be people that don't understand why we're doing what we're doing in the mission, and they're not joining us to have that understanding, well, tell us what you need. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. I guess I'm just thinking, how do we get them to come? That's all I'm thinking.
If we have that open-ended question and somebody wants to come and give their opinion of why they don't think it should, or how we should be doing it maybe differently than we are, that's their opportunity to do so.
Or how they're concerned about the changing of the character of the town, which is what we're hearing.
And that's what I wonder. How are we going to get those folks? Yes, that's all I'm wondering.
Put it in that way that we are opening and inviting them to come have their voice heard.
So this is also going to bring up, we always go through the rules of engagement, or refer to them. It could get very dicey.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's why I would like to use the Board of Selectmen and people that we know in other organizations. We could actually ask Lloyd to maybe help us a little bit on the outreach group. Cheryl could maybe reach out to some of the people that she's worked with in past town work, to try to include people who have not been participating, who might have different points of view that would be important for us to hear as members of our community, but not to put the selectmen up front to answer any questions, just to participate. Come. This is a listening session for us to register the town community members and various opinions. And the point is to get as many voices as possible.
Right. And my point, exactly that, is just seeing perhaps someone who's reputable, because the idea if we don't have multiple viewpoints, then the purpose of the whole engagement is really thrown off. So I'm just trying to figure out how to ensure that we get these, a variety of viewpoints. And that's my main purpose, because if they don't come, then it's, comes back to exactly, as to what it has been, if that's what we're trying to move past. And that's all I just want to be able to get to that point, is how are we going to lure, how are we going to draw people in, not just with the topic, but, often they need perhaps something visual, something they can see. Okay, my representative, this person's going to be there. Okay, then maybe I can, come in and listen. I could come and have something to share as well.
And if it draws a large group of people, like maybe double the size of what we've had so far, then using the breakout rooms could be a whole strategy that we sort of talk about, but then we haven't really done, I think would work well, and people reporting back.
If it comes to that, yeah, because we can fit up to 300, but let's see. I guess we can revisit. We don't have a lot of time for that. So, I'm all okay with, as far as reaching out, if we're going to reach out to, I guess that's what we have to figure out. Do we want to reach out to members of the Board of Selectmen to be able to do that and be able to use their names, be able to use their faces, as part of a discussion?
We have a town resolution, right? We have a town resolution. They should be on board. Isn't there a town resolution about this work?
It's a matter of if this is a format and this is a timing that they can work with. We have to decide this before our next Spirit Council meeting, because this will come before our next meeting.
Right.
And I'm gonna be closing your meeting in 5 minutes, just to give a time heads up, because actually probably about 4, we got to roll into Spirit.
Yeah.
Okay.
When does the Board of Selectmen meet? Tuesdays, Mondays? Because if they meet on Monday, that's kind of problematic.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again, Diana?
The Board of Selectmen have their own meetings. If they meet on Mondays, they wouldn't be able to be,
Right.
or Tuesdays, like it depends. We're going to meet on Monday. Our next presentation is on Thursday. So I don't think we conflict with, if we're doing.
We're on Thursdays, there you go, right.
Okay, Thursdays. So
I'm gonna move, in the
Yeah.
interest of time, that we have a Plan A and a Plan B for December and January. Plan A could be to have these listening sessions. We could do a tailored one in January. We could do a more focused one if we need to understand something specific, or we could do more discussion with town leaders in response to what we learned. But if Plan A for December, January was the listening sessions, we would work with the data subcommittee and network. Plan B would be the ones we already have on the calendar of World AIDS Day, and then human trafficking.
Yeah, no, Plan A.
So,
I second your motion
okay.
to have a Plan A and Plan B.
And then the rest of the ones, we could keep the dates and fill in the topics later, or post them as we have them. February through June.
So are
with
you,
that,
are you making a motion? Because I have to write this down.
no.
I am moving that
Okay.
we proceed with December, January. Let's talk events.
Okay, we got 3 minutes.
Plan A being the listening sessions, and Plan B being the topics we already have on the calendar. World AIDS
I
Day and
second it.
Who
and
seconded it?
Diana.
Okay,
And
her name's everywhere on these minutes. Cool.
Now, do we want to vote, or is there more
Well, you
discussion?
just made a motion. I
Made
second
a
the
motion,
motion.
you have to vote. You have to vote on a motion.
Okay. All right.
So we are voting on the motion to create I guess a Plan A and a Plan B for our upcoming December and January Let's Talk series. So we have a vote to move on creating an alternative plan for that.
Aye.
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 Not so official.
The ayes have it.
All right.
So we're all set with that. Do we have questions, Nicole, for our meeting for our Thursday discussion? Is there?
I have them. I'm going to send them out to refine them. If you would like me to, I can send them to you. I've sent them to the panelists already, but I told them I'd get back with our final list.
Okay, yes, please send copies out of the
You need
question.
them especially.
What's that?
You need them especially to moderate.
Yeah, especially as the moderator. That's why I was running. I hadn't heard anything about that. Yes, Carol.
We're starting with the land acknowledgement, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And they prefer, all 3 of the 4 panelists have gotten back and said, I asked Native American versus Indigenous people. I see it both ways, and they all prefer Indigenous people.
Indigenous people.
Or tribes.
We have about a minute.
That's important to know.
I'll put it on your notes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we're supposed to be flowing right into our meeting for 6 o'clock for the subcommittee.
Are we tabling discussing the budget requests?
We're gonna have to because we only have a minute.
So we are tabling, I move that we table the discussion on budget requests for 2021.
Okay, I second that.
All those in favor?
movement
Yeah.
and motion. I second. All right, do we have a vote to for the motion to table our budget request for 2021?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so
Carrie?
that has been accepted as well. So our next official meeting will be what's that? December
7th.
December 7th
Earl
at
Harp
5
Day.
o'clock. And we will see each other Thursday for our Indigenous peoples discussion this Thursday. Spread the word, put the flyers out, and so that we can have a robust audience with a robust discussion.
And
All right.
adjourn the meeting.
Do we have to
Meeting
vote to
adjourned, 6
adjourn?
o'clock, meeting
Okay.
adjourned. Do we have to make a motion to adjourn?
I
Yes.
move we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, second. Okay, all right. I guess that's it then, right?
Yep.
All right, see you guys in a few minutes.